Hey, you're at Steve Morris Engines. I'm Steve, and this is the All Freedom Sweepstakes engine. So you can win this engine, and all you got to do is for every $5 of apparel or promotional merchandise that you purchase, you get one entry. So let's say, for example, you buy one t-shirt for 25 bucks, you get 5 entries. All right, so let's go in there and latch this thing up and also show you the spark plugs. Well, so we'll do a normal, dyno tune, and check. So you see that hit right there? Now let's go ahead and put the camera up on the stand here, and I'll take these valve covers off, and we will go through valve lash. And I will, like I just said, I will pull spark plugs out so you can see that stuff too. Okay, now there is only one proper way to lash the valves. Do not do it any other way than this. Every other way is not correct. So you want to adjust the intake valve of this motor as the exhaust valve is just opening. Okay, so and this motor is going to be 28. Is what you're going to do. Hot, warm, it's about 120 degrees or so. So you adjust the intake as the exhaust just starts to open. All right, if you do this backwards, it'll be really, really super wrong. Okay, now that's how you adjust the intake. Adjust the intake as the exhaust opens. Adjust the exhaust as the intake has all the way opened right there, and then now is about a 1/4 inch away from being closed. Then you adjust the exhaust valve. Okay, don't roll it over one and do 5 or 6 valves and then roll it over 180 degrees and do the rest of them. That's stupid. Only do it this way. And you just saw me do it. I do all the exhausts on one side, then I'll come through and do all the intakes on one side, exactly like this is. Now, you have to set the set screw and you tighten everything up. And I left everything pretty darn tight. So I just loosened it up enough, this girdle up enough, in order to be able to turn the adjuster nuts. All right. But just make sure you do this the correct method, the correct way. After you're all done, do not loosen this up too much. And the way you can tell if you loosen this up too much is if you do that right there, and then you go back and you check it, and it's like significantly different, then you know that the girdle moved everything. So that's how you adjust the valves. That's how much you adjust the valves to, 28 thousandths. If you're gonna do them cold, do them about 26 thousandths. Now, you can see my my video on how to adjust valves if you ever forget, or you can always come back to this one. Is if you have something that is significantly off, something's probably broke. Don't adjust it. If it's off 1 or 2 thousandths and you're bored and you want to adjust it, I don't care. But if it's got like 1/4 inch, there's something broke. Don't adjust it. Or you figure out what happened. Did this bolt loosen up? Did this loosen up? Did something loosen up and it's bad? Or is something broken? So I'm going to go over here and do the next side, and then we're going to take all the spark plugs out. All right, now I got the spark plugs out. Let's move this over here and we'll take a look at the actual spark plugs themselves. Let's even get these online here, or in view. All right, so this is number 1 spark plug. Let's see if we can get it focused on there better. Might be just a little too close there. There we go. Now, as far as, come on, there we go. Spark plug reading, you can see this one is a little short on timing still, according to where that black mark is on the strap. Looking down there at the very bottom of it, I can cut this spark plug open and take a look at it. I think it's a tick lean, and it's showing a little lean on the O2 in that first hit. So I think what we're going to end up doing is I'm going to put a little more fuel in it. So that is 1. That is 3, which is basically the same. This is 5, which is basically the same. And this is 7, which has a little more heat in it right there. A little more, not much, not a big deal. This is 8. Looks good. Now, keep in mind, if these things are, and this is actually clean right through here, but we don't have a lot of runtime on it, obviously. So the more you run it, the more this gets sooted up. This is, if it's black or all brown, it's wrong. It needs to have, that strap needs to be white, and you need to be able to see porcelain, white. That doesn't mean it's lean. That just means it's pretty close to right. This one's a touch lean, so I'm gonna put a little bit of fuel in it. But all things said and done, that's not really bad at all. Now this one's got a lot of fuel, well, more fuel in it. See how it's kind of black that way? Turn it up on this side and it's not as bad. But obviously has not quite enough timing in there either. So that's number 2. So I am going to put the plugs back in this thing, and then we will, I'm going to put a little more fuel in it. And it's got an 8896 in it right now. I think I'm just going to put a 90, 98. So I'll go up 2 sizes, front and rear. Okay, all back together. We'll start this thing up and let's make another hit. That's what it sounds like when you leave a spark plug out of it. Now I've made a whole bunch of back-to-back passes too, so this thing is all repeating within less than 1%. So and usually it's in between 805 to 810. It's the previous pull right there overlaid on it. This one was 805. This one just made 8010 or 810. All really the same right down there. That's all basically the same deviations and whatever. So let's get rid of that thing. This thing is nice. Now this is pump gas, 93 octane, 91 octane if you want to, but we're running on 93 octane. 810 horsepower at 7,000. Doesn't really lay over too awful bad out here, all the way up to 7,800. Now this is where we're a little bit different. A lot of these engines out there will make real good torque, and then they just kind of lay over, in that 6,500 RPM range. We're making this a more practical deal where you're going to be able to run this in a bracket car, in a fast street car, drive it across the country, race it, drive it back, whatever you want to do with this thing. Super easy, but in a more practical RPM range. So I think this is a really nice stout piece. And so it has a exactly 11-to-1 compression ratio, which is fine on that fuel. And on 93 is what we actually have it on right now, but it will run on 91. Ain't no big deal. So let's go in there and take a look at it one more time. You can see. Oh, I'll show you the oil pressure, AFR. Let's go here. Fuel pressure, oil pressure, right there in high 80s, 90 right at the end. And our AFR, I think we're probably reading just a tickling 13.5, because let's go in here and I'll show you the spark plug. So the spark plug on this thing, whoop, wrong button, hold on. Turn that off, water pump's running. So the spark plug, so I came in here, we made that jet change, and I go, well, it's probably pretty darn good. It's actually, let's see if I can get this to focus on there. Come on. There we go. You see that ring right there? It is actually a little rich, but this is a safe rich, and on pump fuel like this, we're just going to leave it. This is when I cut it apart. So this is after I did that jet change. I made a whole bunch of pulls on it so I could get real good coloring and real good sample on it. And you hear I don't let it idle forever. I just shut it off right away. That is the timing. Okay, nice clean burn strap all the way down. Pretty happy with that. And then this is the fuel. So safe rich. Could we lean on it and probably, get another? In fact, I know we could. I mean, we could get another, we could lean on it. We could play with this thing a whole bunch. and probably squeak out another 10 to 15 horsepower. So I'm getting in that 820-ish range. But this is just a nice, super safe, dead on reliable, all the freedom, average Joe engine. I mean, this is just, you're going to hook up your to the MSD. You're going to hook up the pigtail to the MSD, and you're just going to run a digital 7, 7AL, MSD, digital 6, whatever you want to run. Doesn't matter. I'll plug this back. I'll plug it in later. And hook up your fuel line, set it at 7 psi of fuel pressure, and this thing is rocking. It's done. Well, got to put your water pump and whatever accessories. You want to put it all in there, and water pump, mechanical water pump, I don't care. Whatever you want to run on this thing. But this thing is ready to rock and roll. So we've done all of the dyno testing, showed you valve latch, showed you all the spark plugs, showed you final tune on the spark plug. They just took out the last 2 pulls that we made with a brand new spark plug in that hole. This thing's ready to go. This thing doesn't, no oil drips, doesn't leak anything. Pretty tight, clean, nice, ready to rock. I think some of these other ones we'll probably do with our Williams pan. I had this pan here, and that's one of the reasons why we used it. But this thing is ready to rock and roll. So, all done. Congratulations to whoever the winner is going to be of this bad dude.